Traditionally, virtual reality has been associated only with gaming, but now big companies are turning to VR to make their operations run smoother and their customers happier. Imagine, instead of watching an outdated, boring corporate training video, you're diving right into a real-life scenario that uses natural language processing to create a realistic person-to-person discussion with virtual customers. It's very innovative, and joining me here on the Kim Komando Show today is Kyle Jackson. He's the CEO and co-founder of the company Talespin, and he's here to tell us more about what's referred to as virtual human technology. That's right. Hey, thanks for joining me, Kyle. So tell me, as we start this call right now, how did you come up with this idea?
We started looking at the kind of broad trends of how are we going to use this immersive technology to help reskill people at the pace in which skills gaps need to be filled and work is changing. So originally, it was very focused on process based learning, object-based learning, and we started out deep in the insurance space, working with customers on teaching people things like how to investigate a complex claim. Those customers are typically dealing with some of the kind of worst days of their life, and so it very quickly becomes a soft skills, an empathetic issue, and so we started getting pushed about 2.5-3 years ago to be able to figure out ways to bring customers into simulation, for the purposes of getting those skills, at the same time you're trying to teach yourself investigation skills. And so we went, okay, this is a tricky area. There's a lot that needs to be done on the virtual assistant side and chatbot side, but let's give it a go. And so we started building, based on kind of a set of requirements that were all focused around emotional realism for us. A virtual human in which you could basically start to talk and interact with to get that kind of practice as well.
So you created a virtual human. Okay. So I'm sure when you decided to create this virtual human, it's like, do we make it male or female? What age? I mean, really creating a storyboard of this person. So what did you come up with?
We started out with just looking at something that we believed could be successful at expressing emotion. And so that means detail in the face that helps to push that through to the user. So we started out with an older male just to test the system and test the theory. And as we've now progressed, we have an entire, the United Nations of virtual humans and ages and all creeds. So it's getting interesting because now we can actually, even within the system, start to blend between virtual humans and create kind of a being that doesn't necessarily come from any one scan or real human, because the source of this stuff is real humans, real scans.
Walk me through a little bit of the process. So you guys come over with what, VR headsets?
Yeah, so the best experience is really being able to sit in an immersed environment and actually talk to the virtual human as if you were there in real life, and get it as kind of like a batting practice simulator for those types of conversations. And VR happens to be the kind of like the best way to do that. The system itself can be delivered via mobile and desktop and other things, but you lose immersion, just like a Skype call versus an in-person meeting. So that really depends on the types of skills you're trying to teach. And how important all of the other micro expressions and nuances of communication are to teaching that skill. And that's where immersion really becomes powerful, because you start to be able to look at all the micro gestures and expressions that are also equally important.
So do you think that this is required, your technology is required more so today because we have, a generation that has never grown up on anything other than a phone in their face? Do you think that this is the reason why your technology has become so popular?
Yeah, I think so. That's what we keep hearing from customers, is that there's a generation of kind of digital innates that are used to resolving conflict via text or via digital platforms. And when they come into contact with it in work, they're not equipped to really know how to handle that. There's no real way to practice a lot of these situations until you're in the line of fire. And so, the idea that we can use simulation and use virtual reality to do that actually plugs a very necessary hole.
So tell me a little bit about your customer base. I mean, who exactly is using your technology and what are they using it for?
We started out working with Farmers Insurance about 2-3 years ago. and in sense there have expanded across a number of insurance clients. We've also been working in the kind of big five consulting world. And then we've started to see, large learning platforms and some of the people who have had content in other modalities historically become very interested in this because, again, the results that we've been able to speak about so far are already exponential, and it's kind of still in that first or second draft.
It's all pretty incredible stuff. I mean, when you're talking, when I saw your technology in action, it reminded me many moons ago, I got a job working for IBM. And we went through sales training. And I'll never forget this because at the time there was IBM and there was Compaq Computer. And so it was just face-to-face, simulations and role-playing. And my sales manager at IBM said, okay, tell me why I shouldn't buy a Compaq. And he was the customer who wanted to buy the Compaq. And I went through everything. I said, well, IBM's better than this, and Compaq is this, and, the processors and the price and the service and the warranties and good things like that. And then my sales manager who's training me looked at me and he said, there's only one right answer. And I said, well, what is it? And he says, you just look at the customer, you say, you want to buy a Compaq? You buy a Compaq. You want to buy IBM? That's why you talk to me. So that would be really hard to convey to somebody in text messages. I see a huge success for your company, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the areas that people are pushing us into are really interesting because we're getting into the areas where it's about managing the development of others. We have a lot of people who are are moving into becoming first-time managers, and they don't have the skills, these kind of required skills. And so it's having this big kind of halo effect. And so the technology pushing into those areas where it's helping people to learn how to give, good feedback or have critical conversations is hopefully going to have a real big ripple effect on things just outside of some of the more obvious use cases.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for taking the time to be on this show today. I mean, the new wave of technological innovation in the workplace, it's really just incredible. And I've been saying it for months and months now. If you're in the market for a new job, learning how this technology works can really help advance your career. Hey, thanks for watching. Now, a few things. Don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more digital know-how, check out all these other great links.